I kind of quit everything. I like kind of quit life. I quit
Yeah.
everything. Last July, I just had it. I was like, you know what? I don't know if it was because I was hitting midlife, menopause, and, just have been in the hustle for so long. And you actually talking to you and watching your adventure allowed me to get a little bit of this inspired space of what would my life look like if I just left everything and went on an adventure. And yeah, so that's what I did. I left my home, my Washington State, and went and hung out with my grandkids in South Carolina from last July till the end of the year. My poor husband, he was by himself, but it was a perfect experience. We both had our own adventures within ourselves, and then now I'm back in Washington.
Hi, friends. This is James and Kara, and we are Kerouacs Cruising.
We are taking you on a journey, traveling the country with our dogs and finding remote places where the dog
And us
can roam free and play while we discuss life's growths, beauty, and some struggles along the way.
We recommend pairing our episodes with our blog at kerouacscruising.com, where we organize accurate information in an easy-to-follow format, removing all of the conversational goodies.
The link for this episode's blog post is in the show notes.
We encourage you to join the conversation by commenting where you listen, engaging with us on Facebook or Instagram at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Sit back and enjoy the journey.
Good morning, friends.
Thanks for joining us. It's Kerouacs Cruising, and today we have a special guest, wonderful Morrison. Wonderful. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and what you have going on.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Thanks for swooping by and picking me up on your adventures. Let me see. So since the last time we talked, I have been on my own adventure. I kind of quit everything. I like kind of quit life. I quit
Yeah.
everything. Last July, I just had it. I was like, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know if it was because I was hitting midlife, menopause, and, just have been in the hustle for so long. And you actually talking to you and watching your adventure allowed me to get a little bit of this inspired space of what would my life look like if I just left everything and went on an adventure. And yeah, so that's what I did. I left my home, my Washington State, and went and hung out with my grandkids in South Carolina from last July till the end of the year. My poor husband, he was by himself and he lost tons of weight because
Aww.
I mean, he didn't rub it in or anything, but I
Yeah.
just know. I was like, oh, so what'd you eat today? But it was a perfect experience. We both had our own adventures within ourselves. And then now I'm back in Washington, and it's funny because the last time I talked to you, Kara, we were kind of on the same place where we're selling our house, we're moving, because something happens when you just make that decision to leave the life.
Yeah.
Right? Something inside you stirs and you do want change in some form. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. We're, in the process of selling our home, looking for a piece of property, same thing, so that we can have a different style of adventure. Yeah, and then I took a step back from the business to assess. And a lot of it is I just wasn't sure if I wanted to keep doing the coaching thing, and because it was not a natural fit for me. I'm much more of a planner and system creator and problem solver, and coaching wasn't in my arena of fun.
Yeah.
So, but then, as most things happen for a reason. And I wasn't sure what I was going to get back into. I came back home to Washington in January. My husband and I went on a big vacation for his birthday, and we just spent a week kind of deciding in the sun, like, what do we want to do with our lives? You know, we're 50 years old. We're just like, I don't know, what are we doing? And but the funny thing is, I don't know if you guys experience this. When you ask yourself, what do you want to do with your life? Do you actually really answer it, or does it answer for you? I feel like it just unfolded for us when we
That's it.
came back.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like once you decide to go on the journey, all of a sudden you're like, your feet are walking for you. You're like,
Yes.
this is the direction we're going. And okay, cool. This looks like fun. All right, I'm going for the ride.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what happened. And I restarted my business, but just in a different way. So now it's exactly what I want. And I'm in that same pace and I'm slowing down more so, not slowing down in terms, I don't think I could ever slow down, you know, like retirement isn't in the books for me. I went to a rodeo last week and I thought, oh my God, I want to do that. Well, not really, not really, but you know what I mean? Like,
I'm
I was
thinking
like,
of the
wow.
video I saw today, and I'm like, that's what you want to do? The guy looked
No,
like his neck
I
broke.
was so impressed. I was like, I want to ride a horse. Like, I want to do those type of.
Yeah.
I've never ridden a horse. I've never been to a rodeo. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I
yeah,
went to the
right.
rodeo a few weeks ago, well, probably a month ago.
It's
I
like-
love watching the rodeo. Them
Right?
kids are amazing.
Amazing. I was like, there's no way this guy's getting back up. There's no way. Like, there's no way. And he got back up, and I thought, okay,
My
all
back
these
hurts for him.
and I was thinking all these professional athlete, football players, baseball, they need to go to rodeo school. Like, talk about getting tough, right? And
No joke.
yeah, so I feel like that's the direction I want to see what more I'm capable of it now in my life.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I love
yeah,
it.
that's what's been happening for me.
I definitely feel like when you start deciding you need something different, a change of location is one of those things that naturally come along with it because it's a pattern disruptor. Because now
Yeah.
your routines are different and it's easier because you're not stuck in the same groove of life every single day, driving down the same road, going past the same restaurants and the same
Yeah.
grocery stores and making the same stops you make every day. Now that you have that pattern disruptor, it's easier for you to look inside yourself because when you get uncomfortable, it's easier to start really digging deeper. So not only the change, of course, spending all of that time in South Carolina, but of course, now that you guys
Yeah.
are moving, building that change disruption together it's such a
Yeah.
process.
Now, are you guys
Yeah.
going to build a house or are you going to buy another house?
Okay, so good question. We've been looking at houses. So here's one of my motivations of getting property is I want a house to live in, but I want enough property so I can build also. Like
Love it. Yeah.
build other because I have 3 kids and they're grown and I'd like for them to come back, but I don't know if I want them to be in the house with me. So what if I just built them their own house and be like, oh my God, did mom really just build me a house? I mean, let's not get crazy. I'll probably buy an already created shell and then
Yeah.
build it that type. My husband, and so I feel like I'm more in that space where I want to physically use my talents I've never used before
Yeah.
in
That's
ways like
beautiful.
that.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I interviewed you two and you were both like, oh yeah, we were in corporate, we were in the office. I'm like, no way. And then you just went and bought a bare piece of land and started building stuff. And I'm like,
We did.
did you really? And I thought, could I do that? I mean, I think I could do it in my way, the balance of having a home to live in and then building out. But that was really inspiring to know that you could just do that. You could just choose to do that, right? It's
YouTube
not by force.
University is magical. When you think about, like, one of the things I keep breaking down when I'm like, oh, that's hard, that's impossible. How do people, do that? I think about 150 years ago. I mean, Oregon Trail
Yes.
days, right? People were living in one-room cabins with 13 kids with dirt floors, and
Yeah.
they were thriving. I mean, the country grew astronomically so quickly. You think
Yeah.
about all over the world. There's all these beautiful island countries, Africa, where people are still living like that. And we think it's so crazy that to think of the idea of building our own home, but it's like,
Yeah.
only not been building our own homes for like 75, 80 years, like
Yeah.
as a society, as people. And it's very strange when you think about how quickly we've disconnected from what our roots are. I mean, humans
Yes.
building their own shelters for thousands of years.
Yeah. Right. And then this rodeo we went to it was celebrating its 100th year. And
Isn't that amazing?
there's this huge sign, right? And it's so funny because I'm, I'm thinking it's a sport. So like when you go to football stadiums and everything's like, oh, no, 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 no. Like this is 100-year-old bench you're sitting on. And it really did feel that way, right? Like, and the stadium isn't where you feel the far away distance. Like I saw that they were right there. How they were wrestling that cattle. I was like, man, this is how people survive for ages.
Yeah.
Wrestling cattle or else die.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been a real experience. And I feel like just energetically the world is moving in a way where, yeah, we have more technology, but I think we're also going back to the basics.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a combination of being human again with technology.
Yes.
Right.
I think we need to.
Yeah, right. I agree. And I think, like in the last couple of years, these words like authenticity and vulnerability has been such a big conversation. But I also feel like it was very performative.
Mm-hmm. And found life.
Yes. And I had to, I mean, excuse my crass language, but I had to do these mornings called shut the fuck up mornings where I just didn't do anything. I didn't plan anything. I didn't write anything down and be quiet and just sit in nature. Whoa, that was so hard. That's harder than like go build a railroad. I would have done that because I knew what I was doing. But sitting still with yourself with quiet trees, not easy. That is not an easy thing to do. And after that first month, I finally was like listening to the trees. And it's funny because every time I would get all wigged out, I'm like, okay, I got to be doing this. I should be doing this. The trees were talking to me like, no, just shut the fuck up. Seriously, be quiet like I am and watch me grow. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so impressive.
I tell you, I still have a difficult time with that because we're trying to run a business on the road, right? So we are always making sure we have connectivity, Starlink. I will go sit outside and I'll last about 5 minutes before I'm like, like, what's going on in the world? Where I got to find a book and it's hard. I don't think it ever gets very easy to sit with your thoughts, to sit with yourself. It gets easier the more you do it, but we've been raised and programmed in such a distractible world. It's so difficult to not only sit with your own thoughts and all of that, but then the productivity thing. Well, I have nothing to do right now, so I should be doing something to try to grow my business. I should be doing something my life more comfortable, clean the house or something, like you just always feel like if you've got dead time, I need to do something. And so it is hard. It's hard.
We've been practicing. We celebrate when we don't have to have an alarm to do anything.
Right.
I mean, that's a celebration.
But I think that's what is so inspiring about what you two do. Because, like when COVID hit, everybody and their mother's like, I'm selling everything and I'm going to get in an RV and do the thing. But what was interesting is like 70% of those people gave up. Like a year in, they're like, I'm good. This is good. I'm going to sell my RV and do the whole thing. But what's been fascinating about watching you two is that you've evolved with how it evolves instead of just being the whole, oh, watch what we do when we're out camping and free sites and things. You've evolved the conversation of an internal version of that adventure of like, to the same degree as we're out here learning what the land is about, it reflects what you're growing within yourself. And I think that's by far a much more important message than like, all the little, because like you said, YouTube University, right? You
Yeah.
can find all kinds of ways to fix the tire, the engine, but fixing the human condition, I think that's really what the adventure of being with the trees and being, you don't know,
Mhm.
you don't know if that campsite's going to be available or all the things that go with
That's exactly it.
what you're doing.
Exactly. And it tests, and I'm sure you're going through it a lot with your husband right now too. As a relationship, that growth journey, you guys have been together for a long time and
Yeah.
you're both, especially because you did a lot of it separately. So you're both growing, trying together. And as you
Yeah.
come through your different trials that life brings, no matter how well you plan, no matter how perfect
Right.
you are trying
Right.
to make, and it seems like the more you fight for the perfection and the easy route, the more challenges come in. It really challenges your relationship. And in those moments where you're just like, oh my God, I just want to like
Yeah.
pull my hair out. I'm stressed. And then now he said something that's making it even worse. Like, and I feel like sometimes as it I guess it just shows you what's going on the inside, right? That person in your
Yes.
life
Yeah.
is your ultimate reflection, your ultimate mirror to
Yes.
make you be like, "All right, they're driving me crazy. Why? What's going on inside of me that this is driving me nuts right now?"
Yeah. When you guys did the video about getting stuck because your engine, I
Yeah.
mean, neither of you, what we would imagine out here watching it is you're losing your mind. He's over there throwing shit around kind of thing. And you both were just like, okay, so I guess we're going to go walk over here. I guess we're going to, you're both just like, and I think we've lost that as a society of how to deal with stress
Mhm.
without it consuming you so much that you're the only thing that freaking matters.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I feel like that was such a good show of like, here's how two different individuals handle stress and then how you do it to kind of come back together. And because what we're used to is people losing it and getting angry. And that's not always real relationships. That anger isn't always the thing that
Mhm.
two people, communicate.
Mm. And I will say it's very difficult to change your mindset on that.
Yeah.
For us, it's been
We work at it every day.
it's yeah, you got to work at it every day. I just told a friend that reached out to me that I haven't talked to in a while, and he says I'm just so sick of life. Same age as me, early 50s, and he's like, I need a change, but I just don't know what it is. I'm so sick of being angry, is what he said. And I said, well,
Mm,
I've been trying to have love over anger and fear. And I was like, that's what I've been practicing. And he just was like,
yes.
really? Because when we grew up, where at least when I grew up, the first thing you're doing and when you're mad at somebody, you're going to fist fight that dude right away. That's just how I grew up. And he
Yeah.
was like,
My husband too.
yeah, and it's like, it's so just the other day. So just to give you an example, the Powerball is whatever it was, $1.4 billion. So I
Yeah.
tell Kara I'm going to go to the store to buy a ticket. So I go to the store and there's a guy in front of me and he's taken forever. And at first I'm just so angry about it. But then I'm sitting there and I'm like, what am I angry about? Why am I getting
Mhm.
angry about this? All he's trying to do is buy a ticket also. He spent
Yeah.
$78. I only want to spend $3. He should be able to take his time, and I just you just got to let it go. You really
Yeah.
got to let it go because sometimes you get angry over stuff. Is it really going to matter in an hour or 3 hours
Yeah.
or next week? So if it's not going to matter,
Yeah.
then just let it go.
Right. And I feel like so much of that conditioning is also because we put ourselves in. I was reading this book and it talks about part of our stress is caused by our artificial environment.
Mhm.
Right. And that's why going camping and getting out into the woods or being in front of the ocean is crucial for our human existence
Mhm.
because what the book was saying is the artificial landscape is conforming us for our artificial conditioning. Like I said, when COVID hit and everybody and their mother wanted to do that, just some people couldn't handle what it takes to be in the more natural environment of like, shit's just going to happen.
Yeah.
It just does land that way. And we don't know how to, I mean, you think about it, we get lost in like, wait, how are we supposed to get mad? How are we supposed to handle this? Because we've been so conditioned by the shows we watch and the media we follow, the whole thing. And
Even the
I
ads,
just, yeah,
all the
right.
ads that you see.
Yeah. Oh, or the ones that they hear you talking about and then it shows.
It's so creepy. It's amazing because I had seen something similar, in that artificial world, we have so much control. You don't like what you see,
Mm,
you just swipe. You
yes.
don't like what's around you, you just change what app you're in or you change your setting.
Yep.
So when you're engaging with the real world without technology as a buffer, you have to learn how to roll with the punches. And it's not
Yeah.
easy. It's especially at first, but it gets easier. It's just like any other muscle that you work out. The more you do it, the more you challenge yourself, the easier it gets.
Yeah. I agree. And I feel like I'm so grateful that you guys are still doing your thing because I feel like that's really the ultimate message of, that's what was my interest in jumping on with you guys. Cause I remember thinking like, well, what would I be able to share? And I think about it and my internal adventure reflects your external adventure
Absolutely.
in a way where it's making me question my artificial environment, question, right? And how that's shaping how I relate to stress and how I am seeing my midlife coming to fruition. And like what you were saying about your friend who's just angry at life, like it's almost like an artificial environment feeds that.
Yeah.
Feeds, right? Because it knows what you want to see and hear before you are looking. Where when you're just out there with the trees and your car isn't gonna start, you got to really figure out like what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is one of the things that has helped us learn to be able to roll with those punches is you always do figure it out.
Mm,
Always figure it out. You always get past it. And
yeah.
when you start looking at those negative things as a learning experience and what can we gain out of this and take a second, to pause. And I think that's one of the most difficult things to do is to take a step back
Yeah.
and because you're freaking out. When something
Yeah.
nerve-wracking happens and you can't see the way out right now, you don't know what you're going to do. On the side of the road, you got no cell phone service. How am I going to even call AAA? You just go into panic mode immediately. But if you take a walk and just breathe and
Yes.
get into nature and reset your nervous system, answers will start naturally coming to you and you'll figure it out. You
Yeah.
always do.
I love that you brought up the whole nervous system thing because that's like, the current advices out there and the talk is that success, our achievements, our goals, all the things that we think we want in life isn't unachievable. But what makes it so is because it's not that we don't think it positively enough, but it's how to train our nervous system to receive it, right? Like,
Yes.
and I feel like, again, that's what the adventure of life is. We're just not out there as often. And I feel like that's my physical body was forcing me to like, you can't always just sit at a desk. There's something else. And we think it's inside, like there's something more I can do. There's something else. No, actually it's just get out. Just move, just do the thing, just be a part of life, not in a way that is necessarily self-serving. And I want to be really sensitive about that because, it's good to be selfish in terms of the self-care movement. But I also think when we get to exploring ourselves, we can serve better. Do you find that to be true as you guys have been adventuring this last couple of months?
I think that you become more conscientious. You become
Mm,
more, I guess, because I think when you are in that societal norm, you are so unaware of everything else that's going on outside of your normal routine and your phone and your
yeah.
TV shows and everything else that's going on. So when you start, I think when you start spending more time in nature, you start noticing the impacts on nature. You start noticing, like, one
Mm,
of the things we've become very frustrated about in northern Idaho, there's not a whole lot of public spots that are available for camping.
oh,
And what we found is that when we do find them, there's piles of garbage. People just have trashed the
oh,
space.
man.
And so it's like, well, no wonder they keep closing these spaces because nobody's respecting them, you know? So it's like things like
Yeah,
that. I think you have the time to notice it, I think. What do you think?
yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think that as a human that we are supposed to experience life, not the hustle and bustle of society.
Mhm,
And I think
mhm,
we all get caught up chasing the Joneses and trying to
mhm.
go after these things that if you just slow down and went out in nature and absorb that, that's going to fulfill you more than the latte at Starbucks or whatever you're chasing, because I think we just get caught up in the society. And I think that we're all directed toward that from advertising
Mhm.
and what our parents expected from us, what our grandparents expected from us. And we kind of get caught up into what everybody else expects from us and not just living what we want to live and experience life.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a ton of people agree with that too, but it's harder to I think it takes a lot of courage and bravery to do it instead of just reading about it or watching it, right? Because you really do have to rely on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I know. Even though I went to South Carolina and it's not like I wasn't just left out in the middle of nowhere. I lived in a home and I had my grandkids, but to really have to ask myself over and over again, what do I want? And who am I if I'm not all of those things? If I'm not all the titles that I say, who am I really? And the answer didn't come in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I thought I'd only be gone for a month. I was gone for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
It took that much time to really reconnect to myself and hear my own voice versus like what you're saying of, gosh, what are my expectations on me? Oh my gosh, I learned a really big thing about myself during that process, how much people pleasing I had going on.
Yeah.
And that is,
Yeah. And
that
it's
is,
like, yeah,
I just read an article similar to the people pleasing thing. And the article was about not caring, but when you read the article, it was really about caring, but caring about what does caring mean? What are you really
caring
caring
about
about?
what fills.
And it
Yes.
really comes back to what do I care about? You know, and what
Yes.
happens is we get caught up into everybody else's dilemmas or whatever you want to call them.
Dramas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get caught up thinking about them.
Yeah.
Well, even though
Yeah.
They don't affect us.
they don't really affect us. Like I love my grandson and stuff, but I'm not the one who's raising him. So,
Yes.
I love to visit him and do all that, but he's got parents, and I just think that I don't caught up into their day-to-day business. I just want to go love my grandson. What they got
Yes.
going on in their relationship is theirs. I don't want to get involved in that. I just want to stay over here and give the baby smooches and then leave.
Yeah.
And they still have
Yes.
their relationship. It's what I think sometimes Kara is really bad at it. Like she would go over there every time we visited. She thinks they would have dishes in the sink, and she would think she had to do all the dishes in the sink, and just over the over caring. Oh, you know,
Yeah.
When I
saying.
just wanna help them. They have a baby.
Yeah.
You wash their dishes, they have one less thing on their plate. But I
Yeah.
think that,
But sometimes we overdo it, you know, and then now we're
Yeah.
drawn in, and so I don't know. It's just
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that you do have to let some of that go.
Yeah, I mean, and you hear it all the time, right? All these thought leaders as, oh, surrender and let go. I'm like, well, that's not always the big things. It's kind of what you're saying. Kara, I'm with you. When I was living at my daughter's house, I was like, oh my God, I can't leave her because the reason I was there so long is she had a baby, her third baby. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't leave. I need to stay and help her do the dishes. And I thought, okay, pioneer women who didn't have a phone, who had to churn butter, who had to wash their they did it and they had multitude of children,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, I remember thinking to myself, I have to allow her to see where her strength lies by not being there
Mhm.
at her beck and call, but going enough to like visit, right?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna do the dishes when I'm there, but I
Yeah.
don't feel like I need to stay there anymore and just be like, oh, she won't survive without me. Because then
Mhm.
I realize that's kind of self-serving. That's not really helping her. That's
No, and then it's
helping
like, what does
me.
that say about what you
Yes.
believe she's capable of? She's
Yeah.
capable. For me, I just why not take that burden off the plate?
Yeah.
I know they're capable.
Agreed.
They've got it when we're not there. But I feel like with to circle back around to the people pleasing piece, I feel like once you see the people pleasing part of you and the
Yeah.
shame that comes from not
Yep.
people pleasing, it's an identity crisis. You don't know who
Oh,
you are anymore without it.
yeah.
And I love
Yeah.
what you explore in your social media and your podcast with the rebirth of the midlife, because we used to call it a midlife crisis. And I don't think that's what it is. I think
Yeah.
it's like it's fine foundational shaking and it's a rebirth. Like we're
Yeah.
done with taking care of everybody else. It's now time to find ourselves. And I
Take
love
care of number one.
yeah, I love the community
Yeah.
you've created around that and that
Yeah.
direction you've taken your podcast and your social media through that.
Yeah. I thank you so much for mentioning that because I was really worried at first, like, oh my gosh, because the evolution of the fempreneur was doing really well. But what happened is I just couldn't keep was then you right. I question myself. Am I doing this because I want to do it? Am I doing this because this is what people expect I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
Like, is this what I'm supposed to do because this is what people and I just really went through an identity crisis. I think that's the crisis. The
Yeah.
identity crisis of like, holy crap. I've always been so proud. Oh, I don't like drama, or I'm not a victim, or I'm not a people pleaser. Holy crap. I was all of the things.
Yeah.
I was in victim mode. I was also people pleasing, right? I was also creating my own drama. But I didn't see it at that because it didn't look like what you see on
Yeah.
TV, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
the Real Housewives kind of drama. It was just, oh, but the thing is, was I in it because that's who I am, or was I in it because that's just what was conditioned into
Yeah.
my life? I'm not really choosing into my life. And that's what I think is the bravest thing that two have shown the rest of the world is when you both said, because, if you had both said, like, oh, yeah, I was already a carpenter before you became the thing. No, you both were in offices, in your suits, the whole thing. And to leave that sort of cushy, comfortable, what you're expecting every day to not even knowing how to fix an engine at such the level that you do now, right?
Yeah.
That's, I think, the rebirth of ourselves. And we don't have to do it in that way, but we do. I think at some point our life is asking us to change it up and to be like, okay, you can't, there's something else that is of you. You just have to show up in it. And
Mhm.
that's really when those things confronted me and I realized, yeah, I actually am a people pleaser. Oh my gosh, I actually am also a victim to my own stories. And oh my gosh, the drama is real. I really had to be like, which part of it is me and which part of it isn't me.
Is a story, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That
That's deep.
and yeah, but it took being in nature because I had to walk out in it and to be quiet. So you can't be quiet in the city. There's no way. It's just not gonna happen. As much as even if you put buffers, like it's not. So I feel that that is the you two mixing human physical adventure and emotional adventure is the call. That's the call of the wild, I believe, is that.
Well, one of the things that I've learned since I've been older and through my midlife crisis, we all have to continue to learn. And
Yes.
it's about still accumulating information. I will tell you, when I was working, I didn't think I had to learn anymore. I was like, well, I already got a pretty good job. I make pretty good money. I don't need to learn anything else. I only really read and was on the computer about that particular work. You know, I was only I wasn't going outside of the scope of what I was doing. And through buying our property and living off grid, it was amazing how much you can still learn. And
Yeah.
learning maybe through the hard ways, trial and error, some of it. But our job in life is to continue to learn and grow. And that's a big part.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
do
and I
think
think,
that helps
yeah.
us be happy and joyful.
And I also feel like just that statement right there is what is going to keep your actual physical health. Because, they've done all these studies on dementia, such a big conversation right now. But you notice it's a generation. It's not just, it's the generation that's experiencing it, which is the baby boomers. And they were the generation that kept the same jobs, that had the same routines, that like you're saying that their growth experience was through non self-reflection. It was like, oh, look, because television was changing and media was changing. And I'm piecing all that together now going, oh my gosh, I could see that. I could see that being a thing because I agree with you. Just going to the rodeo, learned so many. I mean, I learned so many things. Here's an example. When I was watching the women do the barrel racing and they're speeding on their horses, right? I was watching them going, you got to have a lot of thigh power to ride a horse. Like, this isn't just like we're going to ride a bicycle. I mean, to be able to look like you're in control of your physical body on a very masculine moving animal, you got to have some thigh power up in that thing.
Those animals like go sideways and they go with it, like they stay with it like they're part of that animal.
Yeah, and she's smiling and waving, and I'm like, her hat's not falling off. I'm going, there's 8,000 things happening at the same time here, and it looks effortless.
Yeah.
And I was like, I see, that's growth. And that's what I was thinking. Like, I was telling my husband, I go, I want to ride a horse. I want to ride a horse because it's working different parts of your brain to do it, right? And so I feel like those types of growth, it wasn't happening in that generation as much as it was in their parents' generation, right? Where there was a lot more creativity and imagination happening.
I feel like the baby boomer generation was the generation that created the momentum for where society is today. Everything changed with that generation.
Well, think about it. Even then, too, through that generation, we really had very little disruption as far as foreign wars or anything like that in the baby boomers. Because you're talking
Vietnam, right? And the Kuwait.
I'm thinking after Vietnam, from the 70s on.
Yeah.
They didn't. Everybody stayed in the same jobs. You're working at Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and you're just the same repetition over and over and over for 30, 40 years, and then you retire.
Yeah.
I do think, like, I never put that together on the dementia part, but that totally makes sense because you're not really getting out of the realm of different experiences. before 1970, there was so many different things: the Vietnam War, World War I, World War II,
Yeah.
Korean War. There was so much going on, and they had the depression.
Yeah.
So they lived
So
through
I
so
guess the
many.
depression and the boomers, together, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so there
Yeah.
was so much. They just was so much
It
back
created
then.
that like productivity culture during that time. I
Yes.
feel like.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think too there was a part of like my mom, her generation, she'd be 80 now if she was alive, and her generation was all about accumulation, like
Mhm.
Too.
getting more and getting ahead and achievement, right? And showing off the kids and doing all of the sort of like strict, moral issues that wasn't really driven by r- anything real.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of that whole, oh, you're a good girl if you're this. Oh my God, the amount of good girl syndrome
Mhm.
happening with midlifers. Oh my gosh. It's painful, an identity crisis
Yeah.
of that is the good girl effect. And I remember growing up watching women do, because the men would be like, "Oh, I'm getting with my secretary," and they were getting divorced after 20 years. I remember thinking, like, who does that? What happens there? What was happening that's was the thing to do? And it's so associated with midlife crisis, men and fast cars, and young women, and women going crazy and crying all the time, and you know their second round of life became alcoholism type of thing.
Mhm.
And I just feel like now I'm there. I get it though, because there wasn't enough support
Support.
in going out there and experiencing life. Like
Yeah.
really, we became so monotonous with the everyday way of routine that it was actually the thing that was making us fall apart. But then how do you do that today? Because there's, like you said, right? There's not as many campgrounds. And I'm noticing too, that there's so much more anger and chaos wherever you go, and opinions that has to be so like hostility in the opinions, whether it's one side or the other side, like everything is very hostile. So then it gets scarier to get out there and do things
Yeah.
and become a part of things, because you don't know, oh my God, if I'm wearing a hat, I could get you, attacked by a group of people, whatever. And it's just like, no, I think those, like what you were saying earlier with your friend, it's just all a bunch of fear tactics to get us not to get out.
I was just gonna
Well,
say I don't read the news at all. I like am totally disconnected. Like I get tidbits from conversations with people on kind of what's going on, which is of course through their filter and their opinion. So I don't
Mhm.
really know what's
Yeah.
going on with much of anything. I just choose to engage on what's in what directly in front of me because I can't change anything else that's going on anyways.
Yeah.
Right? So why even put that in my realm of worry if I can't change anything about it?
Yeah.
All it's going to do is just add for reasons for me to be stressed out and worry about things that I can't do anything about. So I personally I don't engage in media and with those sort of things. Like my social media is literally full of like love and light and consciousness uplifting and you got you and Sylvie, like just these amazing change makers making beautiful, positive change in the world,
Yeah.
you know? Um,
Yeah.
Well, I just want to talk because you said something that. So when you're out in nature, right, and this is something that we practice. So what's Deidre's parents to us?
parents-in-law.
Parents-in-law or whatever. So my wife's parents,
Son's
or my
wife.
son's wife's parents, sorry. Uh, she asked us one time, because we live in the middle of nowhere, and even when we travel in the camper, we're pretty much remote spots. And she's like, "Ain't you scared to be out there alone?" And I was like, they live in the city. And I was like, what do you think's coming to my house to get me? A raccoon? There's nobody coming to my house. There's not a homeless person or a gang member or anything that's
Mhm.
out in the middle of nowhere because they're more scared of the raccoon than I am.
Yeah.
Our bedroom has a door that goes outside from our camper. I leave that open at night with just a screen so I can get the fresh air through the camper. And they would never do that. They would think that there was going to be somebody that's going to come and rob them. But who's robbing you when you are out in nature? Nobody.
Yeah.
A deer's going to come and eat the window. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
A grizzly bear
Yeah.
is the potential.
I guess a grizzly bear maybe.
But I
So
mean, but that's more natural than what
yeah,
would be happening at her house.
yeah. So it's just funny because when
I
you
think
said
that's a
it,
big fear for people is getting
Pe-
remote. Like,
people
who's going to
fear,
help me? You don't need help.
and what you see is people want to be next to each other in gated communities versus be out in nature by themselves,
Yeah.
feel protected when they're in that gated community. But the gangsters are going to the gated communities
Mm.
because that's where the stuff they think they want's there, which really material stuff is really
Yeah.
useless, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's because
Yeah.
people just accumulate things really for how
Like
many
you said,
things.
chasing the Joneses to show
Yeah, how
off.
many
Yeah.
things do you buy, and then in a month you're like, I don't even use that anymore.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, moving, right? Like, so we've lived in our house for 25 years. And when we decided, okay, we decided we're gonna sell our house, when we thought about that, it was in January. And so our realtor was like, okay, so I'll give you guys a month. It took more than a month because you just recognize like, how many whiteboards did we really need? Why is there like an ample amount of whiteboards? What am I do you know, it's so fascinating. And what I've also learned through this revival and rebirth of my life is the trees know what's up. Cause their whole thing to me is like the less you do, the more will come.
Yes.
Right? So when I'm getting all like, oh gosh, I should be doing this, I just am
Put
like,
it down,
"No,
walk away.
yeah, don't buy another whiteboard. Don't do it. Like you don't need it, right? You don't need it. And really, I think you're the one that told me, Kara, you were like, okay, so when you guys get your camper, you got to think about storage. So you only buy enough for the, and I would have never, because we're like avid Costco shoppers. How many toilet paper do you need? And I was thinking about that. I was like, wow, it really helps you to creatively live life in a way that's not for waste
Mhm.
because you won't need all of that. You're not going to need 80 rolls.
Basics. You figure
Yeah.
you really need to be happy to survive, to live the life that's
Yes.
comfortable for you, and that's it. I think that people should move every 5 to 10 years minimum because you need to purge.
Yeah.
You need to get
Yes.
rid of things that you haven't looked at in 10, 20 years. You have to.
Right.
I
I am with my husband actually said that. He goes, "Okay, so this next house, all my friends think, oh, it's your forever home." And I'm like, he goes, "Nah, we're gonna keep it for about 5 years and then we're gonna move on." Because I think that's what I'm seeing it with the generation that's getting so much dementia. They're in their 80s and that generation, and they're just needing more homes, memory care homes. And I'm noticing that they stayed in the same house for 30 years. They've kept the same things. And before that, the people didn't live as long,
Mhm.
right? Like my grandparents did not live as long. So it's not the same kind of thing. And I feel that if my mom was alive today, she probably would have dementia also because they say it's 1 in 5
Wow.
in that age group, which it's kind of scary because they're the largest group of people,
Yeah.
right? Are the
Yeah.
boomers. So when you think 1 in 5, wow, that's pretty impressive. But then you think the lifestyle they had, they're the ones that built the industrial way of living. Yeah. So it really And not that I was piecing that together when I was experiencing this, but something was happening and I'm seeing it with all the women I interview, with all of the people in our age group, right? And I mean, it really, it's like we're all having this awakening of, wait, we got to really do something different. And
Absolutely.
I'm not saying droves of 50 and 60-year-olds need to live the city. That's not what I'm saying here. But what I'm saying is we have to reassess what that city life is looking like
Yeah.
for us
Yeah.
Yeah.
and really rethink it, because I'm seeing it for myself and I feel more at peace. I'm doing less. Like, I take a nap. Before I got on here, I woke up from a nap. I would have never in my wildest dreams, like, naps were for no way. I got
Lately,
too much
people,
to do.
when you take a nap, you feel revived.
Yes.
After meditation, you actually feel energized.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
One
one of the things we
100%.
talked about at the beginning, and you kind of circled around to it, is it seems like there's this collective shift in this
Mhm.
direction of disconnecting from what the society norms have always been and finding more of getting back to the basics. And it's coinciding with this insane rise in technology right now. I mean, there's talks that within 4.5 years, robots are going to be like on the shelves and we're going to be able to buy our own personal robots to do things for us. And so when you think about that, there
Wait
is
a minute. Is there
there
going to be a robot for laundry?
there allegedly,
Sign me up.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing when you think about that consciousness shift and the rise of technology at the same time, what a beautiful timing for these things to come together, because we don't have to be as productive anymore with what's on the horizon. We're going to have
Oh,
AI
wow.
and these robots being able to take care of the productivity. There's a potential that we could still
Wow.
live like the amazing, comfortable lives we've become accustomed to, be able to go through a drive-through if we so choose, but be able to spend more time in nature and actually being animal, because frankly, that's what we are.
Wow. What a great like, oh my gosh, that needs to be all over YouTube, because so fear is
It
happening
is.
with that whole AI and robotics, and they're going to take over. And, now they have all these movies out of like your companion robot, but they're all murderers for some reason. I mean, I'm like,
Really?
okay, Hollywood, I get it. But what a way to look at it, from like, we get to be more humans for us. And we probably,
They're picking up the slack.
yes. That is, I think, a great view, because so many people are, just in my own industry with helping businesses grow. It's like, oh, AI, AI. I'm like, they can do things, but they can't tell your story.
Yeah.
There's no way. You have to input the emotional aspect of your story, because they can't pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
What they know how to do is rewrite it to be more eloquent, to be more this, but they can't make it human,
Mm-hmm.
your story, because your story is your story. And I keep reminding them, no, it's we have to keep telling your version of how it is, not so much, well, but AI is going to take, no, I don't think so. Not in that way, not in the way people think.
Yeah, I think there is a potential it can be used for nefarious things, but what we focus our attention on expands, right? So
Mhm.
I'm choosing to focus my attention on living a glorious life fed grapes by AI powered robots while I bathe in the sunshine and enjoy my beautiful life.
Right? Folding my laundry in the woods. Go do it. Oh my gosh, build my house. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Because then I get more nap time. I get more meditation time. I get to read more, right? Because that's really, we're running out of time because we're so
Baby time.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
hard.
love that.
It is hard now to do the things that you want to do. Like for us, we want to have time to read every day. We want to have time to meditate every day. That's hard to do and keep consistent in doing those things, because life
Yeah.
just keeps happening. So
Yes.
it's hard to get everything in a day done that you want to get done. even though we try to do those things every single day, and we still
Yeah.
don't get it done every day because things get in the way of getting the things you want done.
Are you allowed
Yeah.
to?
Yeah, we allow them
Yeah.
to, I guess. That's a whole nother dynamic of it all.
Right. Right. I agree with you that this beautiful, like, symphony of human internal relationships with technology is a perfect time for it to exist. But we can't look at it from fear or anger or right? Because I think those are human conditions that keep us imprisoned, obviously, where you can't, even if you're that way, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but there's been a company that has purchased a like a retired campground, and I can't remember where it's at, but turned it into an adult campsite where as an adult you can go and do the same things you did as a kid in this campgrounds. And I thought, what a brilliant
I've heard
idea.
of that. I've heard of that. Like, you
Yes.
go boating, you just spend a week
Yes.
doing, like, kid
Like you would do at summer camp.
summer camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign
But
me
it's
up.
for adults. Yeah.
Sign me-
I was telling my husband, oh, we should sign up for that too. I'm like signing up for all kinds of things to reignite myself because I feel like that's it. Because remember, every summer you'd have to get sent away, even if it's just for a couple days. I loved camp.
Me too.
I
I love
loved it.
summer camp.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved learning about the leaves and, all the things. I just thought it was amazing. I love not having to get. I remember there were girls with their little butane curling irons. I'd be like, "Are you serious? Who's gonna look at you in the woods like that?" Like,
That's correct, because that makes me think of all of the not us outdoor influencer or content creators where they're like perfectly sculpt what do you call it, contour lines, and their hair all done and fake eyelashes. So I'm like, what kind of camping are you doing? Like,
yeah,
are you even finding the time to do that? How do you have enough water to wash that at the end of the day? Like,
yeah. That was another thing that you mentioned that I've been thinking about. I'm like, wow, you really have to know how to, because like here, it's just running water, so you get it all the time. And I think we're lacking the respect for things that are so everyday now that wasn't everyday for a really long time, right? And that lack of respect needs to be reminded of us
yeah.
when we're out in nature because you can't. What are you going to do? Squeeze water out of a tree? Like you're not going to be able to do that. So I'm really loving. Thank you so much for having me in this conversation because I feel like one of the stories I want to share is just this revival of my own self understanding
Yeah.
through I'm still in the artificial world. That's not changing anytime soon, but I'm respecting the places that need it and I'm learning to let go of the things that I thought was so important, right? That isn't really as important as it is. And I'm learning to just take it easy on myself, to not be so hard on myself because of this or because of that. It's like what you said, we have to take the time every day. I think healing doesn't necessarily need office space.
Yeah. It definitely does not.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
as we've disconnected so much from society and have gone through our own healing journey, one of the things that we've come to realize is that society is set up, the patriarchy is set up very narcissistic. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like we have literally all been programmed to behave a certain way, look a certain way, act a certain way because it's what appeases the masses or appeases the people who are in control, whatever it is. And it's like I want to rebel against that as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Try all of it.
Yeah.
Well, you
100%.
Sarah brought it up yesterday, and I can't remember the book, but even kids' book.
They program you right
They
away.
program you right away. What's that book called?
It's called Pout Pout Fish, and it's a book about a fish that has a scowl,
pouty
And he
face.
swims through the water, and all of his little ocean friends keep commenting, your face bums me out. I don't like it. I'm not happy with your pout face. You need to fix your face." And then he girlfish swims by and gives him a kiss, and now he's a kiss fish. And all of his friends love him again because he's not so pouty anymore. He's a kiss fish now. And I'm like, what are we programming these kids? Like, feel your emotions,
Yeah.
feel who you are. Like, it's okay to have these big bad feelings. Us telling you to smush it down and put it away to
It's telling
please
you to never
everybody
be
else.
pouty, right? That the book's telling you.
Yeah.
And that's
And
why
I grew up that way. If we cried, my dad would. I'm going to make
Yeah.
you cry now if you're going to cry over that.
Yeah.
and that's why we have a whole generation of people who are trying, and multiple, I think the millennials and the Gen Xers the same. We're trying to learn how to feel our emotions because we had to smash them
Yeah.
down. And that's part of the biggest thing is learning. We don't know how to be angry. We don't know how to be sad. We just know how to squish those feelings down, put on a happy face,
Right.
and go shake the next client's hand. That's what we know.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think it was Brene Brown when she did when she asked like 5,000 people to name emotions, they could only name 5.
I was just thinking
And
that
it's
it
the
must
5 you learn in school,
Yeah.
right? Happy, sad, angry, disappointed, surprised. And she was like, We have lost touch with all the depth of," and I think that's why shows like Yellowstone and a lot of these shows that are a little bit more deeply rooted in the basics have been so popular because it's shaking up this idea of like, we have to fake it till we make it thing.
Mhm.
Right? It's kind of like, no, life is hard.
Yeah.
Life is hard and it's not getting easier. It's how you handle it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why so much of there's so much just energetic shift happening. And so it's so nice to connect to people like you and us that really we're not living the same lives, but we are living the same lives.
Yep.
Because there's not enough of those conversations of like, we are in the same boat, but we're not in the same boat.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all dealing with the same feelings with our own experience.
Yes. Yes. Like, yeah, like you said, I think these conversations are so important because we're learning from each other how to feel.
Yes.
Yep. And really that it's okay to feel.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
okay to have show emotions. I still have a very difficult time to show any kind of emotion
Yeah.
in my life.
And it's funny because my husband and I were just talking about that yesterday. Like, he's definitely way more expressive, but in the big scheme of things, it's like an inch. But to him, it's like miles. But in the big scheme, I'm like, not really, but okay.
So one of the things with the collective shift is, social media, I think, has been poison on us in that so many people only put out there what's beautiful and perfect and wonderful. And then we used to like get really irritated with people who like put their drama out there, like they're searching for attention. They're whatever, we would label those people. And so everybody, I feel like, has gotten to the point where we think that what we see on the face value is really what's going on behind the scenes. And one of the things that I think, and I'm sure you found the same thing in your journey through your book, She Leads From Within, Together We Rise, listening to all these people that I admire and I respect their fields and I respect what they're doing and I respect they're magical, frankly. I mean, they're just magic people. And learning the struggles they have going on behind the scenes with them.
Yes.
The struggles that they feel like they're not qualified to say what they're saying, to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And the struggles that they shared behind the scenes of developing their business outside of what they're publishing in this book. It's just really like, I'm not the only one. And I feel like more of us, you're doing the same thing through your media channels. The more we talk about it, the more people who are going to find the bravery to step up and make the change.
Yeah.
You're not a shit show. You're not a hot mess. You're a normal person.
Right.
All of us are going through the same things. Some of us fight
Right.
it better than others. The most successful people you know have their own shit show going on behind the scenes. It's just whether or not
Right.
they let you see it.
Right. Well, they actually did a study recently about influencers
Mhm.
not actually shifting anything. The likelihood of people actually being influenced by action to, like, if they said, okay, let's have a revolution, is so minimal. They can't even sell like a $20 sweatshirt because it's very performative,
Mhm.
right? There's a difference between true authenticity and performative authenticity. And the thing is, I think our generation has always known that because that is sort of our makeup, right? I think, and I'm not favoring our generation by any means. I'm just saying, based on data, we were born with a heavy dose of courage and bravery, resilience and grit. And I think that's why we're kind of losing it, is because there's nothing that is challenging those spaces anymore.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's a good
And
way to
that's,
say it.
because I feel like we were kind of born in that energy of figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Figure it out. Like, there's been so many experiences in my life. I remember when I met my husband, I was like, were you raised by wolves? Like, where are your parents? What is happening here? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just learn how to survive in a way. And I think we've gotten so luxury living
Mhm.
that it's not testing our strengths
Yeah.
is
Absolutely.
is what I think it's happening.
When we were kids, don't come in the house till 6 o'clock, and we didn't see our
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
Like
I
6,
mean,
they
yeah,
locked the door and they were in the house.
yes, totally that. He told me a story once. He goes, "Yeah, I got lost out in the woods for 4 hours." And I was like, "You didn't have anybody come save you?" He goes, "No, I just went in circles and I realized, like, man, I need to sit." He goes, "I started getting scared, so I just decided I'm going to sit still." And he fell asleep, and then when he woke up, he just figured out how to get back out onto the road.
That's awesome.
And I was like,
Naps fix everything.
but I think about kids now can't even go to the grocery store and ask for their change back. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you were not testing your level of resilience here by giving you too much luxury of
And it's a
existence.
catch-22, right? Because as a parent, you want your children to have a better life than you
Right.
had. You don't want them to have the same struggles that you had. But in
Yeah.
that, we're pussifying the next generation. And I say that as a non-parent, so I stuff my
Yeah.
foot in my mouth as soon as I say it. But yeah, I mean, and I have a confession to make. I was born in the 80s. I'm a Zennial.
Oh, I don't know. I was shaped by the 80s. Like, I look back now and I think, I don't know. I think the 80s had the best music. 70s, 80s, I think were the most original
Mhm.
types of good beat music.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say. And yeah, I was born in the 70s, but the 80s shaped me.
Yeah.
So I just feel like my oldest daughter was born in the 90s. And so I consider her like, she's a millennial, but the way she sees the world is kind of still gritty. Like, she has grit to her,
Yeah.
right? And
There's something to
so
be said when you have that identify with that analog time style. Before the
yeah.
digital era, before internet, before cell phone, and you still had to go knock on somebody's door to see if they can come out and play. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, leave a message on the answering machine.
yeah,
My kids still remember that. They still remember that there was a wall, a phone on the wall. And yeah, you're right. It was still that time where their friends came and knocked on the door. And that wasn't that long ago.
mm,
That was like
I
1995, people.
used to believe that it was long ago.
I know. I mean, honestly, 1989 wasn't that long ago. And okay, one more thing, I promise.
Oh,
You know, I live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of electric cars. Nothing against that. I think that's great. But I think, man, if there was really a zombie apocalypse, I would find the first Camaro, period. Like, I'm not jumping into a Tesla. That's just gonna run out of batteries before I get away. Like, there's no way. And then I gotta take time to plug it in. I'm definitely goner. So, I mean, muscle cars were the best. You
Yeah.
could get the fastest somewhere and, the
They're
easiest
tanks.
transportation. Yeah, absolutely.
When Mad Max happened, what do you want? You
Yeah.
want to be in that 69 Camaro. That's what you want.
Totally. Or, the old Ford trucks, like it can
Yes.
still
Yeah.
carry a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Yep.
That's funny.
So, anyways, that's where I'm at in life now is all the goodness that's coming out of not being so non-choosing into my artificial life,
Yeah.
right? Is to be more present and a part of the world that actually exists because it's naturally growing,
Mhm.
naturally becoming. And yeah, that was a big piece when I read that book. It's called Transitions, and it talked a lot about how the reason nature is medicine is because your mind can't be conditioned to the shapes because no matter where you go, no matter what forestry, no matter what ocean, you can't force it to look a certain way. You have to acclimate to the environment that it is creating.
Yeah.
And what it does is it gives you the power to choose into your life. And I didn't even put that together. I was like, oh my God, that is so true.
Mhm.
Because you can't just make the ocean stop oceaning.
Yeah. Yeah. The leaves stop blowing in the wind. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't make a river just be like, don't be so rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Right. So yeah, that's where I'm at, folks.
Real quick. So, what is your new direction for your
That was good.
business? So,
Well, I've decided so because coaching was my people pleasing dynamic, right? And I am still really like business is very natural for me and I still have the warrior in me which I was trying to like dampen down and be like, "No, don't be so assertive."
Yeah.
And I realized that what I'm really good at is I intuitively understand what people are trying to articulate that they can't, that they don't know how to put out there.
Mhm.
And so my business is more around a personal brand and marketing agency that comes with a virtual assistant. So my goal is to take all healers and coaches and adventurers from a boring message, our people pleasing message,
Yeah.
to bold in your face. Like, really, the truth is, if you're a healer, you can't ask people to maybe heal.
Yeah.
They're dying or not dying.
Yeah.
That's a choice that they have to make. And you have to be bold enough to say, I got it. I got you. You're not going to die on my watch. You're not going to wither away on my watch. And too many times we're too nice, right? We're too safe. It's like, if you want to, if you'd like to be a part of, come join me. And, I mean, I started working with Sylvie
Yeah.
and my suggestion for her was to tell more of her own personal stories
Yeah.
of why
And it's
that
been
means
beautiful to
something.
see. Yeah.
Yeah. And she was, I just talked to her on Monday and she was like, wow, it's really shifted. And I always knew that, but I had a little bit of fear because it's more radical than what people are used to. What people are used to in marketing and branding is very like, come on, high five, we can do this. And I've never seen it that way. I've always seen it from like every individual has a story, and in that story is power.
Yeah.
Right. But here I am just coaching people along. Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of good. But inside, I'm like, no, not going to work. So that's where I've shifted more, being more authentic, with my own self that I have to be okay if people don't want the boldness I'm asking them to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
that it's okay.
Yeah.
I just have to let it go. I don't have
Well,
to be liked by everyone.
absolutely. And I feel like that's part of what these healers need to get in line with as well is they may not be ready to make the step that you're asking them to make, right? And it's the same
Mhm,
thing that the healers come into. People may not be ready to heal yet, and
mhm.
that doesn't mean anything about you against you. It just means they're not
Yeah,
ready for what you're putting out there. And
yeah,
that's just what it is.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's why when we got on, I was just going on and on about how awesome it is that you two are taking your conversation in a different direction as far as your podcast, because that really is what people need.
Mhm.
We don't need one more idea of what to do with a Ziploc on a trailer, right? What we
Right.
need is what is actually happening to the two of you
Yeah.
that is changing the way the world is existing.
Yeah. I I
And
will
that's
I
powerful.
definitely see life in a different lens than I seen it 5 years ago.
or even when we started
Mm,
Or,
ago. Yeah.
yeah, even a year ago, totally
yeah.
different. And my world's shifting, and I do think what's your conscious can dream up, you can live.
Yes. And that is so, oh my gosh, I've been reading so much about these quantum physics things. Oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. I was like,
We
oh
could do
my
a whole
gosh.
series of episodes on quantum physics, in my opinion.
I mean, truly, we are time benders.
Yes. Yes, and we
I,
just
I,
won't
I
believe
am,
it, so we
oh
don't
my God.
see it.
And just, oh my gosh, there's so much because recently, I've been listening and reading and piecing together things that you kind of already knew, but didn't know how it exists together. And then when you read it or hear it, you're like, that's it. It's not a desire, it's a remembering.
Mhm.
You're just remembering who you already are and how so many of our lives already exist. We're just calling in which one. And I was like, oh my God. And then when you're out with the trees, they're just like, told you. I knew that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I almost like I every day I put a little post of like my conversation with the trees because really they're just like, I've been here 500 years, girlfriend. I've seen it all before. And I'm still me, right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've already been I am that version. I just need to move in that direction. And the frequencies, vibration, holy mother of Jesus. That's a whole nother, yeah, we could definitely have another conversation about, but that's a real thing. And that's where I think my business is moving more towards, because
Mhm.
what I realize my intuition is that like
Yeah.
the reason I can hear what you're trying to say is because I already see it. I just didn't know it was a frequency thing,
Yeah.
a vibrational thing. And now if everybody can move in that direction as their business, you're actually already calling in the very thing,
I
right?
think that that's really where the real shift is, right? Where this midlife rebirth is actually beginning to listen to our intuitive gifts that we've been slamming down this whole time.
Mhm.
It's really
Yeah.
learning who we really are underneath the people pleasing, underneath the shame,
Mhm.
underneath the guilt,
The limiting
underneath all of
beliefs.
these limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
What have I been squishing down that I started squishing down when I was 4 or 5 years old? What is that
Right.
part of me, that innate gift inside of me that I have not had the confidence to let out before now? Where that I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that was just a coincidence that I knew that or that I
Yes.
understood that."
No, no. Now I see it. Now I see that there's, oh my gosh, it's in so much of the quantum physics world and the spiritual world
Yes.
are yeah, they're the same line,
It's mind-blowing, dude.
but somehow we've learned to separate them, or we are conditioned to separate them. And the closer you see it coming together, the more it just expands you. And I'm just like, that's my word. That's going to be my word for 2026 is expansion. Because
Love it.
now I know what that actually means. It's not just a logical version. I get what it means on
Yeah,
that.
viscerally.
Now, have
Yes.
you read the book E Squared? And
No. Oh my
you
God.
should get that book.
Wait, hold on. E square. Hold on. What does it look like? It's
Right
called
now,
E
look
square.
up. Look up.
Ooh.
We're doing it for our book club right now. So it's 9 do-it-yourself experiments that prove to you that quantum physics and
real.
creating your
Future with your consciousness
is
really works.
Okay, I just bought it. Just bought it because that's been a
Yeah.
thing.
Experiments
This is
there.
the 3rd time I've read it. Like,
This is the
Oh my
second time
gosh.
I've read it, and it blows me away every time because when you do these experiments and they actually work, you're blown away.
I feel like it's something to be read quarterly so that you can remember how magical you are when you start getting like in the humdrum of life. Like, oh yeah, wait a second, I can create my reality. Like, let me just remember how powerful I am,
Yeah.
and then get back to it.
I'm going to give
And
you
that-
the one thing, right? So one of the experiments is, and you can pick any color butterfly you want. So for me,
You good.
so for me, I was like, I've never seen a purple butterfly. So, and you have 48 hours to see a certain amount of purple butterflies. They don't have to be real. They could be a sticker at a store or whatever, just purple
Yeah.
butterflies. I'm at somebody's house working. I'm on a ladder, and this is no lie. And a friggin' purple butterfly. Now, it's in my brain because I want this experiment to come true. So I'm focused on it very hard. A purple butterfly comes flying by when I'm on a ladder
In November.
in November. So it's cold out. I
yeah, which they
jump
shouldn't even
off
be.
this ladder, and the people that I'm working on this house, they must have thought I was a crazy person. Because I'm running around the yard chasing this butterfly to make sure it's purple. And it was.
Wow.
It was.
Wow. I am.
You gotta read it.
I'm not even in question of that because for the last 2 months, that's what I have been reading and listening to is quantum physics. But on on a deeper level, because so much of what I've been reading and listening to is like, this isn't just like poetic talk.
Mhm.
This isn't like spiritual bypassing. This isn't that. Like, this is honest and real. And the way, and so I have been doing this little thing where I because it keeps saying about like, oh, visualization and I am statements. The reason it doesn't work is because you're not really invested on a visceral level of it, right? And you're not
Embody it.
allowing, yes. So, which is a lot harder than I thought, embodying it.
Yeah.
I was like, what does that mean? I got to get into the skin. And I mean, it, like you said, it's happened in a way where it's like, I kind of get weirded out to such a degree. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna focus on that. I'm just gonna, right? Because but I'm guessing it's been natural for so long for people. We just have been separated from it. Because
Mhm.
that's what it keeps telling me is we assume our desires are separate from us.
Yeah.
So we don't get it because we want it.
Yeah.
But if it's already us, if we're already there, you have to be okay in the absence of it until it shows up.
You have to feel like it's already yours. You have to
Yeah.
feel like it's there already.
You
And
got to live the life as you're living it, as you want to live it.
yeah.
Even if you're not
Yeah.
living it the way you picture it in your mind, you got to keep
Yeah.
it in your mind the way you want to live it.
Yes.
It's happening
Which is
for us. That's all I'll say.
yeah. I mean, which is a lot harder to do, but the house sale has been my experience
Yeah.
of that showing up. And it's been sort of a little bit mind-boggling of like, wow, that really just happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
That really just happened. And then now it's I'm not so desperate in selling. I want to be more conscious of what I want.
Mhm.
Yep.
I love
Because
that.
when that's the thing, right?
That's the
Because when
tip.
you're testing it, you're like, oh, well, we'll see. And then it happens and you're like, oh crap. Wait, I wasn't really ready. I was just playing. I wasn't ready for what I really want. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So
like I remember having a conversation with Sylvia actually, one day about how it's like you want something so much, you feel like you've got this iron grip on it, right? Like you're just like, I can't wait to have it. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop dreaming about it. But it's like the second that you're like, well, it's okay that I don't have it. It's like, boom, there it is.
Yes. And you have to actually be prepared for that though.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. So when it did happen, I was like, wait, that's not really what I want. Wait, that isn't right. Cause I was just testing it out.
Yeah.
And so when it happened, I was like, oh crap, that's not really what I wanted. Hold on. Let me really figure out.
And then on the other side of it, I feel like sometimes when we finally get to the thing we've been dreaming about and manifesting and hoping for, it's been such a natural progression that when we get there, we don't even realize that it showed up. We're just on to the next goal. We're on to the next dream. We're on to the next thing. We haven't even it took us a minute because when we got the camper and everything, it was like such a rush to hurry up and get to Idaho, and we're running and running and running. And it was like weeks. Go ahead, baby. It was like weeks before we were finally like, we're living the dream. Holy crap.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely have to reconnect and talk about that. And because that is, oh my gosh, that's been a wild journey. And I'm at the very beginning of it. I'm at the real very beginning because I just started reading about it like a month ago.
Really?
Yeah, I knew about it, but then I'm in the latter end of my forgiveness work, and she's been bringing it up a lot lately. Like all these more on that metaphysics space.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, let me check this out. And so every day I have been doing a little bit of studying in it, and I was like, wow, this thing is real. This thing is real.
For me, it started out my journey, and I had gone into a rabbit hole of YouTube videos learning about it. And it was back when I was a tour guide at the Grand Canyon. And so I had a shift in the morning, and then I was going to have a sunset tour at night. So I had this 4-hour break where I was just like totally immersed in studying everything quantum physics. And I was like, I don't want to go to work. I was like late getting back to my second shift because I didn't want to stop researching. I was only going to have 2 people on the tour that night. And I was like, I do not want to be here right now. I do not want to do this. I just want to keep studying quantum physics. And so I did the tour with the people. They were great and were super engaging, asked amazing questions. And then at the end of the tour, on the way back after sunset, I usually didn't talk very much. So they were just asking me questions about me personally. And so they started kind of asking me about conspiracy theories around the Grand Canyon, I think is how it kind of bridged in. And then I started talking, somehow bridged into quantum physics and how I was nerding out on quantum physics at the moment. And that woman recommended E Squared to me. She was like, you need to read this book. And so that was like an immediate manifestation, in my opinion. Like I went to work just wanting to learn more about quantum physics. And then she's like, you need to read this book and it'll help make it real for you. So that was.
Look, I'm buying it right now. I'm getting it right now.
You are not going to be disappointed.
No, it's truly magical.
It's a fun book.
I feel like this is what this conversation has really led to, is that ultimately, because that's been so much my thing for the past month, like really digging deep, where
I love that.
I'm understanding it at such a level that I'm like, oh my God, I could talk. I'm like, wow, I think time travel's a real thing.
It is. Why does that EFT work in childhood reparenting? Like, it's because you are going back in time and you're actually talking to that childhood version of yourself in that moment. I've had experiences where I'm trying to go back and reparent in a moment. And then as I'm doing that, I remember a visceral feeling from back during that struggle in my life where I all of a sudden was overcome with calm and knew everything was going to be okay. And so it's like, was that because I went back and took care of that? My future self in my linear timeline had already come, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, I'm reading about it and seeing it. I haven't quite experienced it myself, except for like the one time that when we were in the early stages of selling the house, and I was like, okay, I really want it to happen. And it happened Well, I mean, it happened so many, and that's when I was like, wait, hold on, but that's not really what I wanted. Hold on. What? Back up. I should go back to being really clear about but it like the way that I made it transitionally happen was so real. I thought, I got to take this a little more seriously. Like, this is no joke. This is, and the more that I'm reading about it and understanding it, like we're always asking for it. It's there.
Mhm.
And my most favorite Marvel movie is Doctor Strange. And I was like, oh my God, I can be Doctor Strange. This is so crazy.
I love it. It makes me
I
think
know.
of the Force from Star Wars. Like,
Yes.
it's real. Like,
Yes.
it's real.
100%. Oh my God, when I read this, no, I watched this one called the the quantum of manifestation. And it talked about how what we know about manifestation is all wrong. And it really described what manifestation was. I was like, oh my God, this is the Force. This is, I
Quantum
was
field
like,
is the Force.
yes. And the way that it was describing it, I was like, it all made sense. It was all making sense of what we already know to be.
Mhm.
We're just not in the frequency of that. And it keeps talking about you have to be in the frequency of the thing
Yeah.
because you're calling in all the time.
Yeah.
Every thought.
Your life is shaped by everything you're calling in.
What you don't
Even
have
if
and you
you think,
want to see in your life, if you don't have it, that's where you need to do your work. That's where your inner work needs to be done.
yeah, that's oh my God. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so excited to start reading this right now. I'm like,
It makes me so happy.
yeah, I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna give that thing a try because I really feel like this is more my cup of tea. So where did it go? I just got it. View in library. There it is. Boom. All right. Well, I really love talking to you too, but I got to get on this book situation. Um, so I have 4 hours and 8 minutes of studying to accumulate it. And I feel like I got it on Audible, but I feel like I'm gonna also want it in hard copy
Yes.
too.
So we listened to it first on Audible. And what's amazing is the author, she's amazing and she reads the book. So you're getting her voice literally. And it's such a fun book. She's got so much humor in the book. It's a
It's a
great
fun
way to
book. It's a
experience
good
it.
book.
But order it.
Okay.
In the meantime, while you're waiting for Amazon to bring it to your door, you can start listening to it. Because I think the first like 1/3 of the book is just her explaining the principles before you even get into the first experiment. And then
Oh,
you'll
okay.
want the written copy.
I don't want to give the book out, but yeah, the first bit of the book is just when she's explaining it, it makes perfect sense.
You're like, how come I've never thought of this before?
And she makes dumb people smart.
I feel like one of the things I read too, or I heard it was a YouTube channel where he was talking about that we are all alchemists. The alchemy isn't like this forgotten thing. We just forgot we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And how do you do it? And that's one of my other favorite books is The Alchemist. And I was like, I feel like I can do that. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Like I really feel like it can really shape itself. Like I know it. You know how when you know something at the tip of your tongue
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, God, what's that guy's name? And you can't remember. That's how I feel about quantum physics. It's at the end of my tongue.
I feel
I
you.
know.
I 100%.
I know, but I don't know.
I'd always believed there was more to this reality than what we're seeing. Like I always
Yes.
felt like magic was possible. And I
Yep.
was like, before I learned about quantum physics, I was a staunch atheist. So it was like, didn't make sense. And I felt like there should be magic. And yes.
There's magic.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's magic,
Okay.
but there's definitely
It's
the
magic.
universe. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, All right, my friends. I love you both, but I got to go because I got shit to do.
No,
Well, I want to thank you
Thanks
so
for having
much.
us.
We
happy.
feel so honored you wanted to be here, and I want to
Oh.
let you know I feel honored that we helped inspire your healing journey, and watching it has been absolutely beautiful. I want you to know that our first conversation with you, you had mentioned to us that we should go more soul led, and that helped us pave this path to change the direction to where we are now. So I really want to thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. Thank you. Okay, let's reconnect because once I get reading this book, I'm definitely like, hey.
Well, one of the things, you're not that far away, so maybe we'll just pick up the anchor and travel over there, and we'll do another interview live in person, and we can go have
my
dinner or
gosh.
something.
Yeah, good times. Okay, I'm gonna I'm really excited to get started. I don't
You're like, I'm done
just
with you guys. I need to get in my rabbit hole now. I get it.
I know, isn't that terrible? I'm just like, yep,
It's not.
okay, but I want to click. I want to click play right now.
It's not terrible. I love it.
It's great. So we
All right,
definitely
I'll
should
talk
hook
to
up
you guys
again.
soon. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, I'll reach out. I know I'm going to reach out sooner than I think because I'm going to get started tonight.
I love it. Thank you
Okay,
so
I'm going to
much.
go make dinner and then I'm going to start reading. I'm so excited. I can't even begin to tell you my excitement right now because it's been on my thing.
Because I know what you're getting
jam.
into, I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. All right, my friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great
Wonderful.
rest of your night.
See you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Kerouacs Cruising.
We're thrilled to have you with us.
We had a blast recording this episode and hope you enjoyed our adventures as much as we enjoyed sharing them.
For more amazing pictures and stories, visit our website and blog at kerouacscruising.com.
And join the conversation on Facebook at Kerouacs Cruising or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review.
Your support helps us reach more listeners and allows us to continue sharing our travel experiences with you.
It's a generous favor that means the world to us.
Thank you so much for listening to Kerouacs Cruising.
Until next time, happy travels.